Hi, welcome to my Mounjaro Diaries on Monday the 15th of September 2025. My name's Gordon, fat old climber, and just wanted to give you a quick update. I want to talk about a few things, some of which is moaning, some of which you might find interesting. First, an update. Over the last couple of weeks, my weight's tapered off at 14 stone 11, which is 207 pounds or 95 kilos, bringing my total loss to 107 pounds or 48 kilos, which is fantastic. My waist hasn't changed. It's still at that 38, 39 inches mark, meaning the ratio is still out. On Monday, I ordered my next Mounjaro pen. It's only a couple of weeks, but MedExpress allows you to order within a couple of weeks. My main reason for ordering was I wanted to see if there was a delay in ordering. I ordered this morning at 5 o'clock and haven't heard anything. Let me just check right now, actually.
A few moments later.
No. So no update. I ordered it and the order was taken. It's not uncommon for it to take a couple of hours. Normally, if there was going to be a delay, it would say when I ordered, but nothing so far. So I'll update you next week, or by the time I'm editing this video, if there's any information, I'll put it here. I got a great response from last week's video in terms of people giving me comments about issues they've had. And also I've had, I think, about 150 responses on the survey. All I need to do now is pour over the information and put it into a useful video. Be careful what you ask for. It's been a busy week at work, and it's been an interesting week worldwide. I'm not going to lie. I've been a bit concerned over some of the stuff that's going on across the pond. I don't want to make this political, so all I would say is I really hope that calm heads prevail. Nothing else to say, really. Exciting times. I ordered my new iPhone. A lot of people have a view of people that order fancy new iPhones normally complaining about the fact that there's not much upgrade. I almost always get a new phone based on the cameras, and the cameras have some exciting upgrades for me. They're not going to be exciting upgrades for the average user, but I use my phone a lot for filming. I filmed a vlog last weekend, which should drop today if you're interested in a climbing vlog. This was my camera rig for that vlog. So I'm excited to get my new phone, pick it up on Friday. I'll probably ramble about it next week. And by the time this posts, I'll have worked out what videos to put in my beginners playlist, and that will be linked in the description of this video. So on to some news. I got a lot of people contacting me to see if I'd heard about Lilly changing the design of their pen to remove the fifth dose. I had heard of this. I'd seen a lot of information which I consider to be rumour and speculation. This day and age, I don't believe you can trust anything. I was waiting until there was an official announcement, and there has been news stories with Lilly actually saying that this change is coming. Basically, if you don't know what that is, they are removing the extra liquid that people call the fifth dose or the golden dose. And what that will mean is, for those of you that are increasing the value of your pen or increasing the life of your pen by using the fifth dose, that option will go. They're not changing the design to the design they have in the US, i.e. a single use. It will still be a multi-use pen, but you'll only get the 4 uses it's designed for rather than the 5. What are my views on it? It's a bit of a pain, because immediately, if you've been using the fifth dose, you're getting less out of it. If you haven't been using the fifth dose, no change. I think, if I'm honest, I'm more surprised it's taken this long. People using the fifth dose has actually just been money off of Lilly's bottom line, and anyone that runs a business knows that that's not good business sense. So I'm more surprised it's taken this long. Not happy about it, but hey, what are you going to do? What I would say is, if you haven't been short dosing, bear in mind what I mean by short dosing is taking a smaller dose from a bigger pen. So if you're on 5 milligrams, taking it from a 10 milligram pen, for example, or 7.5 milligrams from a 15 milligram pen. If you've not been short dosing, maybe now's the time to start exploring it. I feel like the response to the fifth dose going away is more people are going to start short dosing. So if you don't know what any of this means, in the beginners playlist I mentioned, I will put links to my videos on the pen, which talks about short dosing, split dosing, etc., and the golden dose, and my syringe video, which becomes a little bit redundant because the main reason I use the syringe is to extract liquid from the extra golden dose. So we won't really need that anymore. Some people, however, when they short dose, they don't use the click method, they actually use syringes all the time. So I'll link that as well. So now on to the section I'm going to call Moni Get. It's been an interesting week from a comments point of view, and I just wanted to respond to some of the stuff. Firstly, I appreciate all the comments. I really do. I think anyone interacting with the videos, it's one of the things that the algorithm loves, and it puts the videos out there, and more people see it, and the more people see it, the more people subscribe, the more views. So I genuinely appreciate every comment. And a lot of my problem with comments is down to my commitment to try and respond to every comment, which is getting harder, I have to say, the more subscribers I get. But a few moans. Increasingly, I'm getting people asking questions in my comments that are answered in the video. I think it can be for two reasons. I think one of it is people start watching the video and they'll comment when the question comes up, and I don't answer the question till later in the video, so they haven't yet seen the answer. That's fine. I kind of have a little niggle about people who only watch two minutes of a video, don't watch the rest, and ask a question about it. I remember a few months ago, I actually had a comment it was one of my questions I always get asked videos, and the comment said, I haven't watched the whole video, but I wanted to know this, the subject was literally in the description of the video. So I don't know what I want you to do about it. I'm just having a rant. But it has been increasing, the people asking a question that's answered in the video. The other thing I've been getting recently is people telling me what I should be saying in the videos, what information I should be giving. There's been a lot of chatter recently about nutrition, what people shouldn't eat, what supplements people shouldn't eat, which I think that's great. If you want to put in the comments your recommendations, fantastic. I know that a lot of people read the comments, so they'll get the information. I'm less interested if what you're doing is putting in the comment this information and telling me I should be saying it. I put information here about Mounjaro, and it's my experience of Mounjaro. I've been on Mounjaro now for almost 10 months, and I've done a lot of research. I've looked into it. I consider myself, whilst not an expert, I consider myself fairly knowledgeable. So the information I'm giving is about that. I'm not a particular expert in diet or nutrition or food or supplements. I have my views. I've done some research, but I don't really do it. I'm not a paragon of dietary excellence. That's improving. I'm working on that, particularly in the build up to the end of the year and the build up to me tapering. But so I'm not going to start telling people information about keto, carnivore, fasting, or supplements that's advice, because I can't give advice. I'm even less qualified on that than I am on Mounjaro. So if you have views like that, feel free to put the comments so that other people read them. But I'm not going to start posting that information while I don't know anything about it, while I know very little about it. And lastly, and I got a few of these in the last few weeks, people telling me I've lost too much weight, people telling me time to stop. Every one of them is based on one thing, how they think I look. And I'm not that interested in how I look. I think I look older. But I genuinely think that's because when you're overweight, that additional fat makes you look younger. I think I'm now beginning to look my age. All I'll tell these people, I'm comfortable with the level of muscle mass I have. I know I've lost some. The reason I got my DEXA scan recently, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it in the description. The reason I got my DEXA scan is to be far more informed about how much muscle mass I had, how much bone density I had, and more importantly, how much fat mass I still had. And I know I still have some to lose. So whilst I'm not starving myself, because the other assumption is people are thinking I'm starving myself. I very rarely are lower than my target calories, and I do favour protein, and I do eat more on the days that I'm exercising. So, you know, again, I don't want people to comment. I'm happy with all the comments, but I'm even happy if people say things like, you know, you're looking thin or you're looking gaunt, but don't use it to say, it's time to stop. I have my plan. I know when I'm going to stop. and the main reason for me doing it is nothing to do with how I look. The main reason for me to do it is to get to a healthy level of fat within my body, which right now it's not. Okay, rant over. So some questions I've been getting that I've answered a few times and I'll answer again. I know there's a lot of new subscribers and maybe you haven't looked at my old videos. I get a lot of questions about if you're short dosing, you're using the pen longer, do suppliers not have a problem with that? The answer is yes, maybe. I don't know. My only experience is with MedExpress, and all I'll say is MedExpress reminds you from 2 weeks after you order a pen, time to order a new pen, but it's very much a sales thing. My longest time between orders, I think, is 7 weeks, and all they did was keep reminding me in a sales way. At no point did they say, if you don't order soon, we're going to kick you back to 2.5. However, there are suppliers that do that. What I would say is you need to look into what your supplier does, how your supplier handles it. I have asked the question, and there are some responses in the survey about different suppliers, and I intend to put that information in the video once I collate it all. The other one I get quite frequently is about the 30 days. I've done a lot of videos on that. My view on the 30 days is I don't want anyone to think I'm saying there's no risk. There is a risk. The reason the 30 days exist is two things. One is degradation. After the pen starts to get used, the seal is broken, potential for oxygen getting in there, the tirzepatide can degrade. How quickly it degrades, I don't know. I've seen some evidence that says after 30 days, unrefrigerated, the tirzepatide starts to degrade. I've seen some evidence to suggest if it's refrigerated, it starts to degrade after 7 weeks. But I haven't seen any official research that I could quote or do. What I do is I use it, I refrigerate it, maximising the chances. But the degradation thing is about the effectiveness. It's not about it being dangerous. It's about the fact it might not work as well. However, more importantly, the research that does exist is every time you inject, every time you use the pen, there's a chance of contamination. And the contamination comes in two ways. If the needle you're using or the pen needle you're using has some contamination on it, or the bung at the end of your pen has contamination on it, every time you use it, there's a chance you're putting some contaminant inside the liquid. More importantly, or more specifically, every time you inject, there is a chance that some contaminant will come from your body through the needle into the pen. And that's the bigger problem. I've talked about this a lot. I don't want anyone to think I'm saying that's not a risk. It is a risk. The reason what I do is I base that risk. What I do is I look at that risk and I think if there's contaminant in there, it's going to survive less well in the fridge. I know there's a risk. I weigh up the risks. I take the risk. And I'll say what I say. I say what I've said countless times. Don't let anyone tell you there is no risk, but do your own research, understand the risk, and decide whether you want to take that risk. That's all I'll say about it. The other thing I've been getting a lot is calls for doing some content on Wegovy. There's a lot of people with the price increase switching from Mounjaro to Wegovy, understandably. My response is this. I only put videos on about Mounjaro because I have some understanding of Mounjaro, I have some knowledge of Mounjaro, I have some experience of Mounjaro. I don't have any experience in Wegovy. So my default position is I'm not going to put content out about it. I've also been asked to do a version of the calculator for Wegovy. What I'm considering doing, and this is a call for anyone out there that's switched, what I'm considering doing is gathering as much information I can and putting some information that's very, very clearly has a disclaimer that this is not my direct experience, this is information I've researched. What I would say is if you're on Wegovy, not if you've recently made the switch, but if you've on Wegovy and you've been on it for a while and you understand the function of the pen, or particularly if you've been short dosing using clicks, then let me know in the comments and I'll find a way that you and I can get in touch, because I want that information. I have some information, I just don't have any validation that it's accurate. Once I get that validation, I'm quite happy to put some information out on video form. I'm also quite happy to do a version of the calculator about short dosing using clicks on the Wegovy pen. But I need to be very, very clear that it's based on no direct experience, and I also would rather I was getting some kind of additional information from people who do know. So get in touch if you've been short dosing using clicks on Wegovy. So what's my plan for the coming weeks? Today, I start an old favourite of mine, P90X. I spent some time looking at workout programs. I've threatened to do workout programs for a while, and I'm genuinely a lazy git, but I've done P90X in the past. I did it. I did it the year I did the first year I did Tough Mudder, actually, which is why I'm wearing this t-shirt. And I really liked P90X. It's hard work. It's not an easy thing to do, but it worked. It successfully made me stronger, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to build muscle mass. I'm looking to build strength because it will help me from a health perspective, and it will help me from a climbing perspective. So I should be doing my first workout today, and I'll do some filming, and obviously I'll update people on that. I'm also upping my training in climbing. I've been doing a lot more pull-up training. I've been doing a lot more fingerboard training, and I'm training and I'm climbing harder when I climb. All of that is really beneficial from a health perspective, from a fitness perspective, and it's improving my climbing. I'm reviewing my food. I've said this countless times. Whilst I favour protein, I don't pay that much attention to it other than what calories am I putting in. For goodness sake, I regularly have a nice big cocktail in the bath of an evening, and that's not a particularly healthy food to take. So I'm reviewing my food with a view to, once I start doing P90X, be more focused on the macros, which I haven't been at all. So focusing on my protein, fat and carbohydrate intake, but mainly to facilitate the training. And similar to that, I'm going to be looking at supplements. So I will start taking more protein. I will start going back to more regularly taking creatine, because that's the one that's been verified as something that can benefit in exercise. I have started taking some supplements which are helping me with Mounjaro side effects, and I'll talk about all of those in another video. The other thing I've done is I have been looking at monitoring my glucose levels, and I've got one of these things. You can hardly see it. I've got one of these things, which is a continuous glucose monitor. I got a version that's not for diabetics, and I'll be doing a video of that. It's been an interesting thing to actually see my glucose levels. I've got another couple of weeks that I want to monitor it, and I want to stress it in terms of maybe doing some fasting, and also want to see what impact P90X has on it. But I'll do a video on that later. So that's it. As usual, thanks for watching. If you liked this video, if you found it interesting, don't forget to smash that like button. If you want to keep up to date on my Mounjaro journey and you're not subscribed, then consider subscribing. I've got a few videos that I want to get out today. There's this one. I've got the vlog from my visit to the new climbing centre in Glasgow. So if you're interested in climbing, or if you just like watching vlogs, that one I'll post later today, hopefully. And I've got my update on my 9C test, my climbing video, which I'll finish today, but I'll probably not post till tomorrow. Can't post 3 videos in one day, for goodness sake. So as usual, thanks for watching. And if you have any comments, feel free to comment. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next video.